Morning students and parents, I hope you all are fit and fine. And in this situation where we need to sit at home, stay at home, actually I am trying to make my subject education far better because it is reaching at you right now. And you all are enjoying that also. I hope you are keeping self-distancing from the other people and the people who are related to you also as well, the people who you do meet to. So in this kind of situation, the basic thing which we need to understand is the responsibility. Now my responsibility is to teach you, as well your responsibility is to sit quietly and understand all the theories which I am teaching you. And after that I'll also explain you what is behind me over the blackboard. So whenever we are talking about the India, we do need that. India is the country which is actually blessed with all the natural heritage, cultural heritage and many more things. So apart from that, if you talk about nature of India, natural heritage of India consists of many precious things. Now what can be in the precious things? It may be spices, it may be plants, nature, flora, fauna and many more things. So moving further, if we are having in India all the beneficial things, all the things which are related with the basic development of the primitive human life, the human life which was in the earlier time and the human style and the life which is right now. So it shows that India consisted all the goodness inside of it. And if there is a goodness in something, obviously it is attractive. So today's lecture is all about attraction of India, where the theory of the lesson says that arrival of the European Empire or Europeans in India. That is class 8th SS chapter number 1 and the part first. So this is chapter 1 and the part number first. So in this chapter, my dear students, I'm going to teach you that how, from where not only Europeans but also other people, how they came in India, why they came in India, what was their general theory to examine their sea route, to identify the new sea land, to identify the new sea route to India. So in this lecture we'll learn part by part, that is introduction related to the hint and the basic examples with the text topics or the text topic. I'll go sequence wise, and after that we'll also move to the British Raj. I'll speak some good or some of the fact related to the British Empire too, as well Europeans, French, Dutch, Portuguese and many more people. And I'll also make you to understand the reason of the people who are Britishans, who are Europeans, Dutch people from Holland, Francis people or many more people who came to India. What was the reason, basic reason? Because see my dear students, one thing you need to understand, if the people who are outer part of the Indian civilization or the people who are coming from a different grade of category of their own nation compared to the other, if they need to come in India, there must be a serious reason. So in this lecture I'll also make you understand what is the serious reasons about that. And after that we'll understand the facts of Christopher Columbus. Now why I'm discussing about the Christopher Columbus? See, there should be a need to discuss the Christopher Columbus because he was the only person who was also remaining a part of this whole arrival of the British Empire or the arrival of the European Empire, European countries. So let's check it out here. Rise of British rule, or before we study arrival of the European in India. Reasons to come in India, fact about Christopher Columbus and effect of social life of people. Now obviously there are some effective things which are working over the social life, the daily routine of the people, because if these Britishers are coming in India, obviously they will obtain their rules, regulations, culture, theory, their whatever they think about their ideological thinkings and all, and they will impose on our Indian people, Indian civilization, Indian boundaries, and the Indian upcoming generations too. So that change also we will study in this lesson. So let's start with the map first of all. Now what this map shows? This map shows that many sailors came from other part of the India. See, first of all, they were coming from Turkey. They're coming from Baghdad. Okay, you can see this out here. They're coming from Baghdad. They're coming from Constantinople, Istanbul, as you know that. So this route was somehow cancelled. Okay, the Turkish route was somehow cancelled due to war between internal people and the European Empire, as well the British Empire too. So what happened in that case? In that case, they made a conclusion. Now in that conclusion, they made a rule. When they came to the conclusion, they thought that we need to make a rule. The rule which will be needed for the betterness of the Turkey, betterness of the Constantinople or the other part of countries, Muslim countries especially. So they stopped the routes, or they closed the routes where the invaders were coming inside to get the shortcut to India. But somehow they succeeded only for a few days, month or year, because Britishers were eager to come to India. Now when they were eager to come to India, they started to get a new sea route, and their sailor came out to find out the new sea route. Amerigo Vespucci, if you talk about Vasco da Gama, Christopher Columbus, and many more people, Bartholomew Diaz, many people sailor, they came out by the help of Spain king, by the help of Portugal king and all. They all came out to find the sea route to India, and among them, one of them reached to the Cape of Good Hope, Christopher Columbus, and laterly somehow other people also went here and there. So after reaching to Cape of Good Hope, they thought that it might be India, but actually it was not. Same as when they reached to an island, it was known as India, but it was not. According to Amerigo Vespucci, it was approved as America, west side of Indies, we can say that. So from the Cape of Good Hope, they went to the Indiana zones. They went to Calicut, they went to Kochi, and they tried to enter inside the India. Even they used the Madras sea route too to enter inside the India, the Chennai. So this lesson is actually all about how, when, why, which condition they came. So the introduction is, my dear students, over. Now rise of the British Empire and the rule. Around 100 year or more than 100 year, they started 1458, 1680, 1635, 1638. Okay, they started to rule their empire on the people of India. Start the East India Company. They landed there, all the ports. They made their headquarters at Mumbai, Maharashtra. So everything was expanded of them. So now they were thinking that the supremacy of the League of British Empire, European Kingdom, or we can say the empire which they came from, should be extended forever. So that was around British rule or the empire, also the rise of the economical freedom. Fact about Christopher Columbus that we'll read during the lecture. And now social effect of the people. Now in the end of the lesson, I'll also make you understand the social effect of the people, in which you will also know that colleges were started, people made rallies, they were supposed to throw the weapons over the Britishers, or throw the bombs over the Britishers, hit them with the charge, and many more things that started. Means social life actually became changed. Warlike situation also happened. English education started, like Lord Macaulay, if you know about him. ये सब जनरल ज्ञान है. ओके, बिफोर स्टार्टिंग द लेसन मैं आपको एक जनरल थियरी दे देना चाहता हूँ. सो माय डियर स्टूडेंट्स, what was the need to come in India? What was actually the need of Indian people, which were also needed by the Britishers, and they came in India. As we have known that India is actually from the previous time has been gifted by several best things, and so that it was the countries which were landing in this Indian zones were attracted somehow. So various countries were coming in India, they were visiting Indian zones, and they were thinking to get all the profit from the Indian people. Worldwide the people came from, and they started their supremacy here and there. They started to rule the India well. Well means for them it was well, but for the Indian people it was very, very bad, because we actually became like the soldiers of the British people, or the servant of the British people, or the slave of the British people. So what happened next? They demanded for the muslin, they demanded for the cloth like cotton, they demanded for the sugar mills, they demanded for the paper mill. And in this category we can say that in this lifespan of the Indian and Britishers, they almost started everything. So the India was now profiting Britishers over the account of Indian people, Indian soldier, Indian farmer, and Indian patients. But the profit was given to the Britishers, and the profit, when it was given to the Britishers, they were carrying out that kind of processes from profits from this kinds of area zone. And after that, it was the theory when other people like England, Britain, and many more people from the countries started to develop well, but the India's situation was deteriorated. It was somehow like bad, it was like poor. So what happened earlier, if you talk about the people who were using to live in India, or the people who struggled for the India, were the people who actually supported India well. So during this situation, Britishers were somehow knowing that somewhere Indians are not actually having the good bondings together. So we need to rule them out. They also took divide and rule policy. See my dear student, today is the first lecture. मैं आपको बहुत सारी details दे दूँगा. Lesson चला रहा हूँ मैं. There is no any problem. But I would like to share most of the basic details जो आपको समझना है. उसके बाद ये lesson पूरा detail wise हम चलाएंगे. Okay? So in this part, I will try to make you understand all the basic concept of this lesson. So after that, what happened? Earlier, the member of the other country also came here, and they started to rule in India. Slowly they also bought their other people in India. They also bought their soldiers, army group, their troops, and there are many more things in India. And laterly we can say that they also went more on. So after that, countries came to India from the northern part of the world. Okay, countries came to India from every part of the world, but if you talk about northern west part of the world by the land route, and after that, for the purpose of trading, they established the supremacy here. So for the years, like for many years, they made themselves to stay here as a traders. But traders are actually becoming the rulers. That is only actually I want to tell you that what this graph is telling you, how the empire started of this. What was the economical balance, what was the strategy, how they were ruling, and how they were moving on. They were somehow going on. So if we talk about, they also made the purpose to trade here, and after that, consequently, they exported from here cotton, silk, muslin, jute, tobacco, leather, and indigo, and many more things they exported from here. So the increase in the European market, their demand. European market was highly having demand of the Indian materials, so all the profit was given to the European markets. And if you talk about one of the state, Bengal, it was actually having a shining glitter over its personality of development, but that personality of development of shining was also somehow fading out because they were giving everything to the Britishers. So as you know, some of the rulers of Nawab were also there, who stated themselves as the Farans people and Farans leader, and they also fought with this Britishers. One of the name I would like to recognize is that Sir Sirajud-Dowla. Sir Sirajud-Dowla was ruling in Bengal, like the Nawab of Bengal. What happened after that? All the chief leaders were coaxed, like Mir Qasim, Mir Zafar and all, and again he was defeated. So my dear student, this is all the game of the Britishers, in which they were trying to coax the people of India, and they were trying to rule their country. They were trying to rule out. So this theory says that, this theory proves that why they came in India, what was the reason to come in India, and how this whole map was somehow designed from the Africa to the India, a whole sea route to the India. So this lesson will also make you understand who came here first, what was his coincidence to meet the other people or their land, and how he got the ports to come here in India. What was the reason there, as I have said you, and what happened after that also. So here, to take the advantage of the Indian people, to take the advantage of the countries which were related to India, they were also somehow focusing over the Indian people as well the Indian neighboring countries too, to rule out them in the future. So my dear students, to take the advantage of this situation, many countries came here, like Europe came, they started to searching a sea route, and many more people also, they started to come here by the financial help of their king and queen. So this is the lecture all about the arrival of the European in India and their development in the Indian civilization, or their development using the Indian people, their development using the Indian cloth material, the Indian farmers, the Indian patients, and Indian many more things. And it will also let you understand that how India was also helping them. See, Indian people were somehow not having all the kinds of hard leadership at that time. Like, they were thinking that we are actually accepting everybody in India, and we also follow the Vasudev Kutumbakam, okay? Or we can say that Atidev Bhava, means we were thinking these Britishers are actually our friend, but actually they were not their friends, they were not our friends. They started to come in India, and literally they started to show their color, means they started to rule out the nation. So in this case of theory, if I talk about the Christopher Columbus, it is also said that Columbus was also one of the person who was needed or who was successful to find out the India. Other apart from the people were also there, but they were not like that. So it says that Christopher Columbus, if you talk about the history, Christopher Columbus was one of the brave sailors who actually came to India, or who also came out to find out the sea route to India. Now, when the Christopher Columbus came here, he also find out the sea route by other means of his own sense. See, today we are having compass, we are having all the GPS system and all, but in the ancient time it was not like that. So they were using the wind direction, they were using the magnetic compass, they were using their own skill of knowledge, and they were living their own thought of belief that how we could go out here. So in this case of theory, when he thought one can go to east via west, I should also try to go there. Why did we cannot go there? So there he believes so that, and think about that people can go east to the west, I can also go from the other direction to find out the India. So he lived, and he under his own circumstances, he started to come to India. But there was a problem. What happened, my dear students? See what happened. Under the misconception, he had also been mistaken, and he has also discovered the sea route to India. Under the misconception means what? He was actually going to find out the other sea routes, and he was also ready to find out the India, but somehow misconception happened and he found something else. And then when he went more and more on, he actually found the India to here. So when he came in India, basically we can say that he was becoming so happy because he was actually treating the Britishers, or he was treating his European people very well to enter and to make them to come in India, because he got the sea route. So here, if I talk about the misconception of the Christopher Columbus, as I said you, he found one of the island which was laterly confirmed by Amerigo Vespucci that it is not the India but it is America. And so on. Today the Native Americans are also called as the Red Indians. So what happened? So after that, from the Caribbean Sea, he went to the West Indies also, and many more other expeditions were done by him. Now if you talk about the Vasco da Gama, Vasco da Gama, a native of Portugal, discovered the sea route to India, as I said you. So when the Vasco da Gama developed this sea route to India, it was also happening that Vasco da Gama was also eager to come to India to treat his people well. So till here we have studied about all the detailed theory about the India civilization, Indian effect of technological development, or we can say that India's effect over the British Empire, British effect over the Indian people, social change, social life, and many more things. So in the other lecture we will start studying about the next theories of this lesson related to the arrival of the European kingdom or arrival of the European empire in India, lesson 1 of the class 8th SS. So this lesson is till here only, and we'll meet in the other lecture in the other next part of the lesson. Till then you can keep revising, and also you can keep researching over these kinds of lessons, and you can also go on by dividing your somehow theories of this lesson and learning them one by one. So till then you can take care and keep revising.